So when people hear that you're going abroad, the reactions are wild. Some are like, bye, bye. Like I'm some like spoiled kid. You know what I mean? That what I'm saying, I'm sitting here like, I'm going, I'm leaving, right? They're like, bye. Okay. Others, they act like you died or something, and then others they act like you're crazy. Because I mean, for a lot of people, when you do move abroad, it's probably the craziest thing that, or at least was considered crazy to other people, probably the craziest thing you've done. At least a perception of it. And others they say that you're free, but they're all right, in their own way. Because once you make that move, you become like a free agent. So today I'm breaking down the right mindset for leaving abroad. Okay, and here's 7 lessons that will prepare you mentally, emotionally, and spiritually for the life you're about to live. Okay, so let's get right to it. Okay, so when people say goodbye, they're not just saying bye, they're saying that you're free. Okay, you're a free agent. So sometimes I'll look in the comment section, in the videos, and if you make a video, kind of just talking about, you've left America. Some people are like bye bye, peace peace, like almost like you're being insulting. It's okay to like another country without hating your own. Like when I say that I'm leaving America or I moved out, that doesn't mean I hate the country. That's not like a diss on the country itself. You have to look at it like you're a free agent. I mean, like just looking at sports, right? Like when when you look at sports and your favorite team, the athletes don't feel the same way that you do. The athletes are looking at it like they're a free agent, right? If this basketball team or whatever sports team gives me a good contract, they'll go. As simply as that. Every now and then you may find some type of loyalty. Maybe if it's their hometown club or somebody that drafted them or something like that. But other than that, they're looking at it like being a free agent, and you should too. The thing I would say about living abroad is that you're looking for the best situation for you. And it's all about that. That's what it comes down to. That's the bottom line. And if another country gives you a better situation for yourself, you should take advantage of that. There's nothing wrong with that. Um, that doesn't mean that you hate your country. If of course, assuming you're American. So that's one thing that is very important to look at is when you do go abroad, just consider that you're a free agent and it's okay. You're not anti-America if you leave America. Okay, let's get to the second point. Okay, just like I was saying, you don't have to hate America to love the world. So don't cut yourself off from home. Okay, leaving doesn't mean that you're betraying where you came from. You don't have to delete your culture or your roots. America isn't perfect, but neither is anywhere else. Hey, what you're looking for may not be perfection. Okay, maybe another country fits your spirit, and that's okay. So here's the thing. When you leave, when you go to a particular country, like I'm in the GCC, I'm in the Middle East. And I'm kind of surprised. What surprises me every day is how much I like it. And it's funny because when I researched jobs, years ago, I remember before I came here to the Middle East, I was in. I had negotiated a deal to go to China, and I remember at that time there were jobs in the Middle East and there were jobs in China. And there was a recruiter that I was working with. The recruiter was like, "Yeah, people don't really like the Middle East that much. A lot of I would recommend China more so." And I mean, both were good. Okay, I had a good experience in China. and I had a good. I'm having a blast here in the middle. And that didn't sound right, right? Having a blast in the Middle East, and I'm having a good time in the Middle East, right? But the thing about it is, a lot of this stuff, it's really about finding the perfect situation for you. Okay. Some people will, if you talk about leaving the country, they'll be like, but, it's racist. Everywhere is racist. Everything, da, da, da. You hear all this stuff, and it's like, you know what? A lot of that stuff that you hear is just jargon. Like, man, I lived in China for 2 years. I didn't really experience if I experienced anything that I would consider like racist, it was either very subtle or maybe like if they spoke of like the local language or whatever, maybe some stuff I didn't notice. But they keep trying to spread all this propaganda like it's the 50s and you're getting like spit on and have to, sit in the back of the bus and stuff like that. That's just not the reality. The thing is, I'm encouraging people, and one thing to keep in mind is this message is not for everybody. It's if I make videos about how I left the States, this is not a message for the average person. This may be the ultimate solution for some people. This may be the dumbest thing you've ever done for somebody else. But for some people, they're going to look at this and it's going to resonate. That's how these videos are. So the whole point is, where I'm at now, the job I work, the situation I got, if it were different, I may not have the same feeling about this particular country that I'm in. But the particular situation that I got in, man, I'm free. This is my 5th year here. I'm freaking loving it. I mean, I am, and it's just getting better and better. I'm meeting more people. I'm getting a better social life. I'm starting to figure things out better. That's important. But just keep in mind that if you find something, you're trying to find what's right for you. You might look at someone else's video, and they're like, "Oh, go to Thailand. You should go to Thailand. Oh, go to Vietnam. You should go to Vietnam. Oh, go to Kenya. Oh, go to Brazil. Go to the Colombia. Go to these places." And the thing about it is, you might go there and hate it, or you might go there and love it. It's all about what fits your current situation. That's what it's all about. So keep that in mind. This is about finding the perfect situation for you. All right, number 3. This is something that will help you when you do move abroad, is you want to find your tribe abroad. So you can't do this journey alone. Okay? Your friends and family might not get it. So here's the thing. And this is very important, just like I said earlier in the video. This may be considered the craziest thing that you do. And that is how people around you will look at you. They're going to look at you like, man, you want to leave America? Dude, you're crazy. You're crazy. It's the best thing. It's the best country. It's just the best. And even a lot of the people talking, they don't have any comparison. They've just been grown up and really just fed all this propaganda to just regurgitate. I don't know how many times I've heard people criticize a country that they've never gone to. And it's crazy. If I tell people, yeah, I'm living in this country or I'm traveling to this country. Oh, I heard it's like this. Oh, I heard the girls don't shower. Oh, I heard the people, starving, broke. This is stuff. It's just like, dude, what are you talking about? And the funny thing is, and they'll say it with such conviction. And I'm like, you've never even been there, right? That's like me talking about your house. And I'm like, oh, you about to go over Johnny house? Oh, Johnny house have rats. Johnny house stank. Johnny house ain't got no AC. And you're like, dude, how do you know? You ever been to Johnny's house? I mean, no. That's how stupid this sounds. But here's the thing. If this is something that you really want to do, and you want to live abroad, you should get some type of circle of people that do this. Because when you have travelers, they're the ones that understand it. If you're talking to people that don't understand that lifestyle, I mean, they're not going to get you. They're not going to get it. But when you're around people that has done it, or they're travelers or like-minded people, they'll understand. They could even help you, like they could even have solutions for you, or they understand what you're going through. A lot of us have gone through the same things where family doesn't understand you. They just can't imagine that you left, and they're thinking like, oh, well, this is just a phase. He'll be back. He'll be back. And they don't understand that there's some really good situations, really good situations around. Yeah. So, and then this also helps you when dealing with like homesickness, having, familiar people around you, or just a good community. All right, on to my next point. Leaving changes you even if you come back. So here's the thing. You won't come back the same. So and this happened to me. So I remember the first time I went abroad. I didn't understand until I came back. And I see this all the time with people that move abroad. And the thing about it is, part of it is this. Sometimes when you move abroad, what you remember are the highlights of things. Sometimes good, sometimes bad. Like, I'll give you an example. When I left China, okay? And I went, well, let's say I left China. Sometimes, okay, first time I left, I'll get summer breaks. And I left, went back to America, went back to California. And I'm thinking like, oh man, I kind of miss China, da-da-da-da-da. And the stuff that I'm remembering, I'm not remembering a lot of details. So like, I'll give you an example. When you are in China, I mean, it's not all like roses and sunshines, right? Like, for example, the apartments usually are like really small. They have a strange sewage system. So when I was living there, like, this is like, I had moved out this particular apartment. That when I first moved in there, that mess smelled like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles lived there. I mean, it stunk so bad it made me wake up. You don't flush toilet paper down the toilet. So you have to, like, after you do your business, you know what I'm saying? Number two, you put it in the garbage. So that's just like, dude, that's nasty, compared to like how I grew up, right? So there's a lot of things like with the space, a lot of things that you could find inconvenient. There's a lot of stuff great too. But the point is, a lot of times you don't remember those small details, and you come back like, oh man, I forgot. I've had fun in certain countries. Excuse me, hold on. I've had fun in certain countries where I forgot they don't speak English. And I go back, I'm like, oh man, I forgot. I'm not even communicating with these people in English. So a lot of times we remember highlight reels. So the thing about it is, a lot of times when you leave America, what happens also is it sticks out. Some of the things that are different will stick out when you go back to America. You might notice that you have to pay for certain things that you don't have to pay for in another country. Like I remember, like, let's say, I don't know why I'm coming up with so many China examples this afternoon, but I remember I had an issue with a bike, and I remember I took it to the bike shop. I had to get something fixed on the bike, and the guy fixed it, and I tried to give him like a tip or something. He was like, no, right? And I was like, oh my God, like they wouldn't even have entertained this conversation in the States if I did not offer money. But not just that, it's just things that you pay for that you may not have to pay for in the things that you have to pay for in the States that you may not have to pay for abroad will stick out. I remember the first time I left, I just felt like everything was so, I'm looking for the right word. Everything was so like, it was like a catch to it. So what I mean is, let's say you want to buy something. Like, yeah, the price is $2.99. Then you go to the register and it's like, whatever. It's like almost like $3.50 or $4. You're like, whoa, I thought it said $2.99. Yeah, but there's tax, there's CRV, there's the fee for the bag, the fee, so everything kind of has like, you know, here's some shiny numbers to get your attention. So everything looked like a lie. Here's a number to get your attention. And then when you go pay for it, everybody looks at you like you're crazy. Oh, you said it's $2.99? No, it's not $2.99. No, that's if you got the base model, and that's without taxes and fees and insurance and this and this and this. And you're like, okay, man, you're they like gaslight you like you're the one, like you're tripping for thinking it's $2.99 when you put on the price is $2.99. So that's what it's like. So those little things really stick out like sore thumbs. Unlike the extra things you have to pay for, maybe like how isolated the people are, all this stuff that you didn't, how much stuff is being taken out of your paycheck, all of this type of stuff will really show its head when you are abroad and you come back. So that's what a lot of people don't understand, just how different they are when they leave. You see things through a different set of eyes. You've now seen comparisons that you haven't seen before. And so now it's harder to deal with, harder to cope with. All right, let's continue. One thing to consider, community is a new currency. So when you move abroad, your definition of rich changes. So back home, being rich is all about money, cars, titles. Being abroad, rich means, having people to show up for you, neighbors who check on you, the friend who translates for you, the local who teaches you something new. That's wealth. The thing about it is, so many people are caught up in these definitions and these protocols, and you don't realize that you're never going to get there. They look at it like, okay, well, this is what you want to do. You want to live a life, you want to travel, this is what you got to do. You got to get a job, then you got to get a second job, then you got to work your tail off. Work, if you're working 40 hours a week, 60 hours a week, 80 hours a week, that's not enough. Then what you got to do, you got to save some of it, then you got to open up an LLC. Then after you open your LLC, you got to do this, you got to do that, and then you got then you got to have a business, you got to hire employees. So it's all these hoops that you have to jump through, all this stuff that you have to do. And it's like, well, I remember I started going down that path thinking like, I have to, open up all these businesses and, have employees and do this and do that for me. And I have to jump through all these hoops. And part of the way going through it, I said, you know what? I'm doing all this extra stuff when all I want to do is travel the world. Like, why do I need all this stuff to travel the world? And then I kind of woke up and I was like, you know what? I could just do that right now. Why can't I do that now? And so it kind of reminds me of I was talking with my son earlier, and I was telling him I don't have any regrets in life, but when I was younger, and I may come up with a channel on this in the future, but when I was in high school, I was pretty good at getting scholarships for college, okay? And I remember, like, I had a really unique story, and I remember, like, I was interested in, like, writing a book, maybe doing a speaking tour, and at this point I was in college, my professors were like, oh, if you want to write a book, it needs to be at least 150 pages. You need to have this. You need to have that. You need to have this. And when I used to start writing, that's good. That's not good enough. And they're marking it up in red and red. And I looked at it and I was like, dude, all these hoops I have to jump through, I'll never get done with this book. And what made me so mad is, like, if I would have known better, I would have maybe done a special report. I would have turned a special report into an ebook. After that, like, these are all products that's doing the same thing. It don't have to be 150 pages. And then I could, ease my, I could do an audiobook. So these are all things. It could be an audiobook, it could be a special report, it could be an ebook. So these are like things that I could have realistically done, and it wouldn't have taken me that long to actually come out with the product. But the thing is, they're so conditioned to this super long way with all these steps. I'm like, damn, can I just get the goddamn, pardon my French, can I get the freaking book, man? You know what I mean? Like I'm trying to get a product. You know, I have the information, but they kept spinning me around in circles, and I never came out with it. At least within that peak window that I felt like I should have done it. So it's the same thing with America, man. A lot of you guys are feeling like you've got all these hoops. Now, here's the thing. You do want to set yourself up right. I'm not saying not to do that, but a lot of you guys have so many steps that you have to do first. You're never going to get there. You're never going to get there. This is just something that it's like the pie in the sky. And it's just an idea, but to really make it a reality, to really make it a reality, you have to kind of focus on what you really want and just go after it. Make it simple. Because I was falling in that trap, thinking I needed like $1 million or all this stuff before I left. And I needed to set myself up a certain way, but my plan was very realistic and achievable. All right, let's get to number 6. Patience is your passport. So this a little bit contradicts what I said before, but you know, when you do go abroad, you do want to set yourself up in a way that is sustainable. So, in being so, it may take you to travel first and come back and scope out the area. If you do move there, don't be so tempted to like open up a business right away. You may not understand the economy as well as you think you do. And a lot of times people just burn through their money when they first get there because they don't understand how much stuff costs. Everybody is waiting for you when you get there to get over on you in a lot of these countries. So it's good to be patient and realize what's real and what's not real. But that part takes patience. Setting yourself up. I see a lot of people that go abroad and then they're right back in their home country with a failed attempt just because they overestimate some of the things that they can do. So it takes a little bit of patience. You want to set yourself up where you got a stable base. That's important. Yeah, but just in general, patience is going to help you. In a lot of these countries also, you know, visas, they may take months. You know, you may find systems that you're used to things working like clockwork to run a little bit slower. You know, but patience, that's going to become your new superpower. Yeah, that's important. So just patience on your initial planning steps to move here. And then once you get here, you got to exercise patience. And then the last one, number 7, be a student again. You know, you might have degrees, but abroad, you're going to start from zero. You know, you're going to relearn a lot of things. You know, how to talk. If you need to learn a different language, how to eat, how to think, how to move around, how to shop. A lot of this stuff is you have to do it again. I remember being in China. Everything was a big milestone. Just like learning how to catch a taxi, learning how to catch the bus, learning how to catch the train, learning how to ride a scooter. All this stuff. Learning how to ride their like fast bullet train type train. Learning how to fly domestically there. All of that stuff was all brand new. Learning how to use like their equivalent to like Uber Eats or DoorDash. Their version was totally different. So you have to relearn a lot of stuff when you move abroad. It's fun. It's exciting. It's a nice little milestone to get when you've done something like that for the first time. You know, you made that breakthrough. You're like, oh my God, I can't believe that. I learned how to ride a scooter. Oh my God, I can't believe I learned how to catch a bullet train. All that stuff, you're going to remember that. Those are going to be precious moments. Yeah, but just keep in mind to be a student again and, you know, be open-minded and you'll get a chance to learn how to do a lot of new stuff. Yeah, so hey, if you stayed on to the end of this video, thank you so much. Moving abroad isn't about escaping, it's about expanding. You know, you don't leave to prove anything, right? You leave to discover everything. So if your mindset is right, this journey won't just change your location, it'll change your life. So drop a comment below. What do you think the right mindset is for moving abroad? Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and share this with anyone that's thinking about taking that next leap. Anyway, I'm Expat D. Thanks a lot for spending time with me. Peace and I'm out.